Hello, my dear friends. So, today we are here to read another new folk tale of Bengal. So, today is the 10th story which we are reading. So, the name of the story is Strike But Here. So let's start. Once upon a time there reigned a king who had 3 sons. His subjects one day came to him and said, O incarnation of justice, the kingdom is infested with thieves and robbers. Our property is not safe. We pray your majesty to catch hold of these thieves and punish them. The king said to his sons, O my sons, I am old, but you are all in the prime of manhood. How is it that my kingdom is full of thieves? I look to you to catch hold of these thieves. The three princes and the three princes then made up their minds to patrol the city every night. With this view, they set up a station in the outskirts of the city where they kept their horses. In the early part of the night, the eldest prince rode upon his horse and went through the whole city, but did not see a single thief. He came back to the station about midnight. The second prince got upon his horse and rode through every part of the city, but he did not see or hear of a single thief. He came also back to the station some hours after midnight. The youngest Oh, this is a beautiful girl. And it is a man. Okay. Now what happened? After few hours, the youngest prince went the rounds, and when he came near the gate of the palace where his father lived, he saw a beautiful woman coming out of the palace. The prince accosted the woman and asked who she was and where she was going at that hour of the night. The woman answered, I am Raj Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth, or the primary deity of the king, by whose boon the the wealth of the king is being safe and sound in there. The guardian deity of this palace. The king will be killed this night. I am therefore not needed here. I am going away. The prince did not know what to make of this message. After a moment's reflection, he said to the goddess, But suppose the king is not killed tonight, then have you any objection to return to the palace and stay there? I have no objection, replied the goddess. The prince then begged the goddess to go in, promising to do his best to prevent the king from being killed. Then the goddess entered the palace again, and in a moment went the prince knew not whither. The prince went straight into the bedroom of his royal father. There he lay immersed in deep sleep. His second and young wife, the stepmother of our prince, was sleeping in another bed in the room. A light was burning dimly. What was his surprise when the prince saw a huge cobra going round and round the golden bedstead on which his father was sleeping. The prince with his sword cut the serpent in two. Not satisfied with killing the cobra, he cut it up into 1,000 pieces and put them inside the pan dish, a vessel made generally of brass for keeping the pan, the betel leaf, together with betel nut and other spices. The pan dish, which was in the room. While the prince was cutting up the serpent, a drop of blood fell on the breast of his stepmother, who was sleeping hard by. The prince was in a great distress. He said to himself, I have saved my father but killed my mother. How was the drop of blood to be taken out of his mother's breast? He wrapped round his tongue a piece of cloth 7 fold, and with it licked up the drop of blood. But while he was in the act of doing this, his stepmother woke up and, opening her eyes, saw that it was her stepson, the youngest prince. The young prince rushed out of the room. The queen, intending to ruin the youngest prince, whom she hated, called out to her husband, my lord, are you awake? Are you awake? Rouse yourself up. Here is a nice piece of business. The king, on awakening, inquired what the matter was. The matter, my lord, your worthy son, the youngest prince of whom you speak so highly, was just here. I caught him in the act of touching my breast. Doubtless he came with a wicked intent, and this is your worthy son? The king was horror struck. The prince went to the station to his brothers, but told them nothing. Early in the morning, the king called his eldest son to him and said, if a man to whom I entrust my honor and my life prove faithless, how should he be punished? The eldest prince replied, doubtless such a man's head should be cut off, but before you kill, you should see whether the man is really faithless. What do you mean? Inquired the king. Let your majesty be pleased to listen, answered the prince. Once on a time there lived a goldsmith who had a grown up son, and this son had a wife who had the rare faculty of understanding the language of beasts. But neither her husband nor anyone else knew that she had this uncommon gift. One night she was lying in bed beside her husband in their house, which was close to a river, when she heard a jackal howl out, there goes a carcass floating on the river. Is there anyone who will take off the diamond ring from the finger of the dead man and give me the corpse to eat? The woman understood the jackal's language, got up from bed, and went to the riverside. The husband, who was not asleep, followed his wife at some distance so as not to be observed by her. The woman went into the water, tugged the floating corpse towards the shore, and saw the diamond ring on the finger. Unable to loosen it with her hand, as the fingers of the dead body had swelled, she bit it off with her teeth and put the dead body upon land. She then went to her bed, whither she had been preceded by her husband. The young goldsmith lay beside his wife, almost petrified with fear, for he concluded after what he saw that his wife was not a human being but a Rakshasi. He spent the rest of the night in tossing in his bed, and early in the morning spoke to his father in the following manner: Father, the woman whom thou hast given me to wife is not a real woman but a Rakshasi. So, what will happen next? We will come to know what will happen to this poor lady. We will know, but tomorrow. So, till then, be happy, be jolly, be safe. Ta-da!